You ever notice how getting left on red can sometimes sting way more than an angry reply? Yeah, there's a weird kind of power in that, isn't there? Well, today, we're going to get into this whole counterintuitive idea that silence and just choosing to ignore someone isn't a sign of weakness. Actually, it might just be one of the most powerful moves you can make to become, well, untouchable.
Oh man, we've all been there, right? You're caught in some argument that's just going in circles, you're trying to explain yourself to people who seem determined to misunderstand you, and at the end of it all, you just feel completely exhausted by the negativity. It really feels like a battle you can't win. But what if the only way to win is to stop fighting altogether?
Okay, let's really unpack this because this is the whole game right here. I want you to think about your energy, your attention, your emotions like it's actual money in your bank account. Every single time you react to negativity, you're making a withdrawal. And the problem is you're spending your most valuable, non-refundable resource on people and situations that give you absolutely zero return.
So why is it so ridiculously hard to just not react, you know? Well, it turns out our brains are literally wired to engage. But that same instinct creates a perfect trap, especially when you're dealing with toxic people who know exactly how to exploit it.
Let's get into the science of that sting for a second. When someone ignores you, a part of your brain lights up called the social pain response. And get this, it's the same area that processes physical pain. See, from an evolutionary point of view, being rejected by the tribe was basically a death sentence, so our brains are hardwired to treat it like a real, physical threat. This is why being ignored can literally hurt more than being yelled at. And understanding this is the key to flipping the whole power dynamic on its head.
People who feed on chaos and negativity, they are completely powerless without your participation. Think about that coworker who makes that little passive-aggressive comment in a meeting, just waiting for you to get defensive. They poke and prod because they get a hit of control from your emotional response. The second you react, boom, they win.
All right, so if reacting is the trap, how in the world do we get out? This is where we turn the tables. It's all about shifting from being predictable and easily manipulated to being someone with a quiet, unpredictable kind of power.
This quote just captures that mindset shift perfectly. See, true strength isn't about needing to have the last word. It's about the quiet confidence of knowing your worth doesn't need anyone else's sign-off. The moment you stop trying to explain and defend yourself, that's when you start owning the room.
So let's look at the choice here, laid out bare. On one side, you have the reactive path. It keeps you drained, predictable, and totally stuck playing their game by their rules. But on the other side, the silent path. That's where you become powerful and unpredictable. When they can't get a rise out of you, they lose their script, they lose their control, and you become free.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about ignoring people. That's just the external action. The real work is internal. To truly become untouchable, you have to build an inner fortress. And for that, we can learn a ton from the ancient wisdom of Stoicism.
You know, the Stoics figured this out thousands of years ago. They understood that most of what happens in the world is completely outside of our control. Other people's opinions, their actions, their drama. By focusing our energy only on what we can control, our own responses, we reclaim our power and find this incredible sense of inner peace.
So, how do we actually do this in the real world? It's basically a three-step process. First, just acknowledge the noise and chaos around you, but without judging it. Second, get crystal clear on what's actually in your power, your thoughts, your actions. And third, you deliberately choose to put all your focus right there, and you just let the rest go. This is how you build resilience from the inside out.
Now, the benefits of this practice goes so far beyond just dealing with difficult people. Mastering silence and non-reaction, it enriches pretty much every part of your life in ways you might not even expect.
You'd be amazed what a difference just 2 little minutes can make.
Seriously, research shows that making space for just 2 minutes of pure, uninterrupted silence can actually lower your stress and tension more effectively than listening to so-called relaxing music. It is a ridiculously powerful tool for your well-being that costs absolutely nothing. And it's not just about relaxation. Some of the greatest minds in history understood this connection between silence and breakthrough ideas. Even Einstein knew that to solve really complex problems, you had to quiet all the external noise and just let your creative mind do its thing. So, you see, the payoff is just immense. A quiet mind is a creative mind. When you're silent, you finally start to really listen to your own intuition and to other people. That fosters way deeper connections. And every single time you choose that calm over the chaos, you're laying another brick in that inner fortress of resilience.
This brings us to the final and maybe the most empowering idea of all. We often think about getting back at people who've wronged us, right? But the most powerful revenge isn't revenge at all. It's something so much better.
See, the end game here isn't about beating them at their own game. It's about building a completely different game on your own field by your own rules. It's about creating a life that is so full of purpose and peace that their drama becomes nothing more than a faint, pathetic noise in the distance.
And that right there is the final victory. It's not about blocking them or arguing with them. It's about leveling up in your own life so much that you just outgrow them. Their opinions, their negativity, all of it becomes completely irrelevant because you're operating on a whole different level.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. The people who tried to drain your energy, they wanted you weak. They wanted you stuck. They wanted you broken. So instead of focusing on their chaos, let's focus on your creation. What will you build with all that energy you just reclaimed?